남규태방송 시청자 여러분 안녕하십니까. 오늘은 2023년 5월 14일 일요일입니다. 현재 시간은 오전 4시 50분입니다. 성경공부 489회 방송을 시작하겠습니다. 성경은 역대하 21장부터 영문으로 읽어보겠습니다. Then Yehoshaphat rested with his ancestors and was buried with them in the city of David. And Jehoram, his son, succeeded him as king. Jehoram's brothers, the sons of Yehoshaphat, were Azariah, Yehiel, Zechariah, Azariahu, Michael, and Shephatiah. All these were sons of Yehoshaphat, king of Israel. Their father had given them many gifts of silver and gold and articles of value, as well as fortified cities in Judah, but he had given the kingdom to Jehoram because he was his firstborn son. When Jehoram established himself firmly over his father's kingdom, he put all his brothers to the sword, along with some of the officials of Israel. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 8 years. He followed the ways of the kings of Israel, as the house of Ahab had done, for he married a daughter of Ahab. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord. Nevertheless, because of the covenant the Lord had made with David, the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David. He had promised to maintain a lamp for him and his descendants forever. In the time of Jehoram, Adam rebelled against Judah and set up its own king. So Jehoram went there with his officials and all his chariots. The Edomites surrounded him and his chariot commanders, but he rose up and broke through by night. To this day, Edom has been in rebellion against Judah. Rimna revolted at the same time because Jehoram had forsaken the Lord, the God of his ancestors. He had also built high places on the hills of Judah and had caused the people of Jerusalem to prostitute themselves and had led Judah astray. Jehoram received a letter from Eliah the prophet, which said, "This is what the Lord, the God of your father David, says. You have not followed the ways of your father Jehoshaphat or of Asa, king of Judah, but you have followed the ways of the kings of Israel, and you have led Judah and the people of Jerusalem to prostitute themselves, just as the house of Aha did. You have also murdered your own brothers, members of your own family. Men who were better than you. So now the Lord is about to strike your people, your sons, your wives, and everything that is yours with a heavy blow. You yourself will be very ill with a lingering disease of the bowels until the disease causes your bowels to come out. The Lord roused against Jehoram the hostility of the Philistines and of the Arabs who lived near the Cushites. They attacked Judah, invaded it, and carried off all the goods found in the king's place, together with his sons and wives. Not a son was left to him except Ahaziah, the youngest. After all this, the Lord afflicted Jehoram with an incurable disease of the bowels. In the course of time, at the end of the second year, his bowels came out because of the disease, and he died in great pain. His people made no funeral fire in his honor, as they had for his predecessors. Jehoram was 32 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 80 years. He passed away to no one's regret, and was buried in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings. The people of Jerusalem made Ahaziah, Jehoram's youngest son, king in his place, since the raiders who came with the Arabs into the camp had killed all the older sons. So Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, king of Judah, began to reign. Ahaziah was 22 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 1 year. His mother's name was Azariah, granddaughter of Amni. He too followed the ways of the house of Ahab, for his mother encouraged him to act wickedly. He did evil in the eyes of the Lord, as the house of Ahab had done. For after his father's death, they became his advisors to his undoing. He also followed their counsel when he went with Joram, son of Ahab, king of Israel, to wage war against Hazael, king of Aram, at Ramos Gilead. The Arameans wounded Joram, so he returned to Jezreel to recover from the wounds they had inflicted on him at Ramos in his battle with Hazael, king of Aram. Then Ahaziah, son of Jehoram, king of Judah, went down to Jezreel to see Joram, son of Ahab, because he had been wounded. Wounded through Ahaziah's visit to Joram. God brought about Ahaziah's downfall. When Ahaziah arrived, he went out with Joram to meet Yehu, son of Nimshi, whom the Lord had anointed to destroy the house of Ahab, while Yehu was executing judgment on the house of Ahab. He found the officials of Judah and the sons of Ahaziah's relatives who had been attending Ahaziah, and he killed them. He then went in search of Ahaziah, and his men captured him while he was hiding in Samaria. He was brought to Jehu and put to death. They buried him, for they said he was a son of Jehoshaphat, who sought the Lord with all his heart. So there was no one in the house of Ahaziah powerful enough to retain the kingdom. When Azariah, the grandson of Ahaziah, saw that her son was dead, she proceeded to destroy the whole royal family of the house of Judah. But Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Jehoram, took Joashi, son of Ahaziah, and stole him away from among the royal princes who were about to be murdered, and put him and his nurse in a bedroom, because Jehoshaphat, the daughter of King Jehoram and the wife of the priest Jehoiada, was Ahaziah's sister. She hid the child from Azariah, so she could not kill him. He remained hidden with them at the temple of God for 6 years, while Azariah ruled the land. In the 7th year, Jehoiada showed his strength. He made a covenant with the commanders of units of 100. Azariah, son of Jehoram, Ishmael, son of Jehohanan, Azariah, son of Abed, Maashiah, son of Adaiah, and Elishabeth, son of Zikri. They went through Judah and killed the Levites and the heads of Israelite families from all the towns. When they came to Jerusalem, the whole assembly made a covenant with the king at the temple of God. Jehoiada said to them, the king's son shall reign as the Lord promised the concerning the descendants of David. Now, this is what you are to do. Set of your priests and Levites who are going on duty on the Sabbath to keep watch at the doors. Set up you at the royal place, and set at the foundation gate, and all the others are to be in the courtyard of the temple of the Lord. No one is to enter the temple of the Lord except the priests and the Levites on duty. They made enter because they are consecrated, but all the others are to observe the Lord's command not to enter. The Levites are to station themselves around the king, each with a weapon in hand. Anyone who enters the temple is to be put to death. Stay close to the king wherever he goes. The Levites and all the men of Judah did just as Jehoiada the priest ordered. Each one took his men. Those who were going on duty on the Sabbath and those who were going off duty. For Jehoiada the priest had not released any one of the divisions. Then he gave the commanders of units of 100 the spears and the rods and the small shields that had belonged to King David and that were in the temple of God. He stationed all the men, each with his weapon in his hand, around the king, near the altar and the temple, from the south side to the north side of the temple. Jehoiada and his sons brought out the king's son and put the crown on him. They presented him with a copy of the covenant and proclaimed him king. Then they anointed him and shouted, "Long live the king!" When Azariah heard the noise of the people running and cheering the king, she went to them at the temple of the Lord. She looked, and there was the king, standing by his pillar at the entrance. The officials and the trumpeters were beside the king, and all the people of the land were rejoicing and blowing trumpets, and musicians with their instruments were leading the praises. Then Azariah tore her robes and shouted, "Treason, treason!" Jehoiada the priest sent out the commanders of units of 100 who were in charge of the troops, and said to them, "Bring her out between the ranks and put the sword anyone who followed her, for the priest had said, "Do not put her to death at the temple of the Lord." So they seized her as she reached the entrance of the horse gate on the place grounds, and there they put her to death. Jehoiada then made a covenant that he, the people, and the king would be the Lord's people. All the people went to the temple of Baal and tore it down. They smashed the altars and idols and killed Matan, the priest of Baal, in front of the altars. Then Jehoiada placed the oversight of the temple of the Lord in the hands of the Levitical priests, to whom David had made assignment in the temple to present the burnt offerings of the Lord as written in the law of Moses, with rejoicing and singing, as David had ordered. He also stationed the gatekeepers at the gates of the Lord's temple, so that no one who was in any way unclean might enter. He took with him the commanders of 100, the nobles, the rulers of the people, and all the people of the land, and brought the king down from the temple of the Lord. They went into the place through the upper gate and seated the king on the rear throne. All the people of the land rejoiced. And the city was calm because Azariah had been slain with the sword. Joash was 7 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 40 years. His mother's name was Zibiah. She was from Beersheba. Joash did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, all the eyes of Jehoiada the priest. Jehoiada chose 2 wives for him, and he had sons and daughters. Some time later, Joash decided to restore the temple of the Lord. He called together the priests and the Levites and said to them, "Go to the towns of Judah and collect the money due annually from all Israel to repair the temple of your God." Do you know? But the Levites did not act at once. Therefore, the king summoned Jehoiada, the chief priest, and said to him, "Why haven't you required the Levites to bring in from Judah and Jerusalem the tax imposed by Moses, the servant of the Lord and by the assembly of Israel for the tent of the covenant law. Now the sons of the wicked whom Asariah had broken into the temple of God and had used even its sacred object for the Baals. At the king's command, a chest was made and placed outside at the gate of the temple of the Lord. A proclamation was then issued in Judah and Jerusalem that they should bring to the Lord the text that Moses, the servant of God, had required of Israel in the wilderness. All the officials and all the people brought their contributions gladly, dropping them into the chest until it was full. Whenever the chest was brought in by the Levites to the king's officials, and they saw that there was a large amount of money, the royal secretary and the official of the chief priest would come and empty the chest and carry it back to its place. They did this regularly and collected a great amount of money. The king and Jehoiada gave it to those who carried out the work required for the temple of the Lord. They hired masons and carpenters to restore the Lord's temple, and also workers in iron and bronze to repair the temple. The men in charge of the work were diligent, and the repairs progressed under them. They rebuilt the temple of God according to its original design, and reinforced it when they had finished. They brought the rest of the money to the king and Jehoiada, and with it were made articles for the Lord's temple. Articles for the service and for the burnt offerings, and also dishes and the other objects of gold and silver, as long as Jehoiada arrived. The burnt offerings were presented continually in the temple of the Lord. Now Jehoiada was old and full of years, and he died at the age of 130. He was buried with the kings in the city of David because of the because of the good he had done in Israel for God and his temple. After the death of Jehoiada, the officials of Judah came and paid homage to the king, and he listened to them. They abandoned the temple of the Lord, the God of the ancestors, and worshipped Asherah, poles, and idols. Because of their guilt, God's anger came over Judah and Jerusalem. Although the Lord sent prophets to the people to bring them back to Him, and sought, they testified against them, they would not listen. Then the Spirit of God came on Zechariah, son of Jehoiada the priest. He stood before the people and said, "This is what God says. Why do you disobey the Lord's commanders? You will not prosper because you have forsaken the Lord. He has forsaken you." But they plot against him, and by order of the king, they stoned him to death in the courtyard of the Lord's temple. King Joash did not remember the kindness Zechariah's father Jehoiada had shown him, but killed his son, who said as he lay dying, "May the Lord see this and call you to account." At the turn of the year, the army marched against Joash. It invaded Judah and Jerusalem and killed all the leaders of the people. They sent all the plunder to their king in Damascus. Also, an army had come with only a few men. The Lord delivered into their hands a much larger army, because Judah had forsaken the Lord, the God of the ancestors. A judgment was executed on Joash. And Arameans withdrew. They left Joash severely wounded. His officers conspired against him for murdering the son of Jehoiada the priest, and they killed him in his bed. So he died and was buried in the city of David, but not in the tombs of the kings. Those who conspired against him were Jabed, son of Shemis, an Ammonite woman, and Jehoiada, son of niece, a Moabite woman. The account of his sons many prophesied about him, and the record of the restoration of the temple of God and written in the annotations on the book of the kings, and Amaziah his son succeeded him as king. Amaziah was 25 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 29 years. His mother's name was Yehoiada. Yehoadan. She was from Jerusalem. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, but not wholeheartedly. After the kingdom was firmly in his control, he executed the officials who had murdered his father, the king. Yet he did not put their children to death, but acted in accordance with what is written in the law in the book of Moses, where the Lord commanded parents shall not be put to death for their children, nor children be put to death for their parents. Each will die for their own sin. Amaziah called the people of Judah together and assigned them according to their families to commanders of thousands and commanders of hundreds for all Judah and Benjamin. He then mustered those 20 years old or more and found that there were 300,000 men fit for military service able to handle the spear and shield. He also hired 100,000 fighting men from Israel for 100 talents of silver. But the men of God came to him and said, "Your Majesty, these troops from Israel must not march with you, for the Lord is not with Israel, not with and of the people of Ephraim, even if you go and fight courageously in battle. God will overthrow you before the enemy, for God has the power to help or to overthrow." Amaziah asked the man of God, "But what about the 100 talents I paid for these Israelite troops?" The man of God replied, "The Lord can give you much more than that." So Amaziah dismissed the troops who had come to him from Ephraim and sent them home. You will bury us with Judah and left for home in great rage. 아마지아 된 marshalled his strength and led his army to the valley of Salt, where he killed 10,000 men of Sheol. The army of Judah also captured 10,000 of Judah also captured 10,000 men alive, took them to the top of a ship and threw them down, so that all were dashed to pieces. Meanwhile, the troops that Meiji had sent back and had not allowed to take part in the war raided towns belonging to Judah from Samaria to Beth Horon. They killed 3,000 people and carried off great quantities of plunder. When Amaziah returned from slaughtering the Edomites, brought back the gods of the people of Seir. He set them as his own gods, bowed down to them and burned sacrifices to them. The anger of the Lord burned against Amaziah, and he sent prophet to him, who said, "Why do you consult these people, gods, which could not save their own people from your hand?" While he was still speaking, the king said to him, "Have we appointed you an advisor to the king? Stop. Why be struck down?" So the prophet stopped, but said, "I know that God has determined to destroy you, because you have done this and have not listened to my counsel." After Amaziah, king of Judah, consulted his advisors, he sent this challenge to Jehoash, son of Jehoahaz, the son of Judah, king of Israel. "Come, let us face each other in battle." But Jehoash, king of Israel, replied to Amaziah, king of Judah, "Stay still in Lebanon, send a message to Cedar in Lebanon, give your daughter to my son in marriage." Then wild beast in Lebanon came all long and trampled the sister underfoot. You say to yourself that you have defeated Adam, and now you are arrogant and proud. But say at home, why ask for trouble and cause your own downfall and that of Judah also? However, would not listen, for God so worked that he might deliver them into the hands of Yehoash, because they sought the gods of Adam. So Yehoash, king of Israel, attacked he and Amaziah, king of Judah, faced each other at Beth Shemesh in Judah. Judah was routed by Israel, and every man fled to his home. Yehoash, king of Israel, captured the Amaziah, king of Judah, the son of Joash, the son of Ahaziah, at Beth Shemesh. Then Yehoash brought him to Jerusalem and broke down the wall of Jerusalem the Jerusalem from the Ephraim gate to the corner gate, a section about 400 cubits long. He took all the gold and the silver and all the articles found in the temple of God that had been in the care of Obed-Edom, together with the place treasures and the hostage, and returned to Samaria. Amaziah, son of Joash, king of Judah, lived for 15 years after the death of Yehoash, son of Jehoahaz, king of Israel. As for the other events of Amaziah's reign from beginning to end, they not written in the book of the kings of Judah and Israel from the time that Amaziah turned away. From following the Lord, they conspired against him in Jerusalem, and he fled to Lachish and killed him there. He was brought back by horse and was buried with his ancestors in the city of Judah. Then all the people of Judah took Uzziah, who was 16 years old, and made him king in place of his father Amaziah. He was the one who rebuilt Eras and restored in it to Judah after Amaziah rested with his ancestors. Uzziah was 16 years old when he became king, and he reigned in Jerusalem 52 years. His mother's name was Jehoiah. She was from Jerusalem. He did what was right in the eyes of the Lord, just as his father Amaziah had done. He sought God during the days of Zechariah, who instructed him in the fear of God. As long as he sought the Lord, God gave him success. He went to war against the Philistines and broke down the walls of Gath, Jemne, and Ashdod. He then rebuilt towns near Ashdod and else where among the Philistines. God helped him against the Philistines and against the Arabs who lived in Gur Baal, and against the Meunites. The Ammonites brought tribute to Uzziah, and his fame spread as far as the border of Egypt, because he had become very powerful. Uzziah built two walls in Jerusalem at the corner gate, at the belly gate, and at the angle of the wall, and he fortified them. He also built towers in the wilderness and dug many cisterns, because he had much livestock in the poor foothills, and in the plain he had people working his fields and vineyards in the hills and in the fertile lands, for he loved the soil. Uzziah had a well-trained army ready to go out by divisions according to their numbers, as mustered by J.L. The secretary and Maaseiah, the officer under the direction of Hananiah, one of the royal officials. The total number of family leaders of the fighting men. Was 2,600. Under their command was an army of 307,500 men trained for war, a powerful force to support the king against his enemies. Uzziah provided shields, spears, helmets, coats of armor, bows, and sling stones for the entire army. In Jerusalem, he made devices invented for use on the towers and on the corner defense, so that soldiers could shoot arrows and hurl large stones from the walls. His fame spread for and wild, for he was greatly helped until he became powerful. But although Uzziah became powerful, his plight led to his downfall. He was unfaithful to the Lord his God, and entered the temple of the Lord to burn incense on the altar of incense. Azariah, the priest, with 80 other courageous priests of the Lord followed him in. They confronted King Uzziah and said, "It is not right for you, Uzziah, to burn incense to the Lord. That is for the priests, the descendants of Aaron, who have been consecrated to burn incense. Leave the sanctuary, for you have been unfaithful, and you will not be honored by the Lord God." Uzziah, who had a censer in his hand really to burn incense, became angry while he was raking at the priests in their presence before the incense altar in the Lord's temple. Leprosy broke out on his forehead. When Azariah, the chief priest, and all the other priests looked at him, they saw that he had leprosy, so his forehead, so they hurried him out. Indeed, he himself was eager to live, because the Lord had afflicted him. King Uzziah had leprosy until the day he died. He lived in a separate house, leprous and bender from the temple of the Lord. Your son, his son had charge of the place and governed the people of the land. The other events of Uzi as Reagan from beginning to end, recorded by the prophet Isaiah, son of Amos. Uzi rested with his ancestors and was buried near them in a cemetery that belongs to the kings. For people said he had leprosy, and Jotham, his son, secretly did him as king. 성경공부 489회 방송은 여기서 종료하겠습니다. 역대하 26장까지 영문으로 읽어보았습니다. 시청해주신 분께 감사드리겠습니다. 안녕히 계십시오.